Hey everybody. In this video, I'm going to show you how to save out your Defold projects, save out the actual project folder itself and share it with someone. So if you're planning on working with a collaborator and you aren't using GitHub, or if you're submitting a project to be reviewed or just trying to get feedback, or if you just want someone else to work on your project and don't want to share it on GitHub. So I'll show you how to access your project folder, how to compress it and send it off however you need to. And I'll also show you how to build out your games specifically for the HTML5 platform. So for web-based games. So you could upload this to itch.io or Newgrounds World or any other kind of web-based arcade platform. So I'm going to start by sharing my screen as always. There we go. So you should be seeing Defold. Now, I'm going to Control B to build this out just to play test this. And again, this is the project that I've been working on prior. So if I hit Control B, it should build it out. There we go. I can move around up and down, left and right. So not much too thrilling in here. But what I'm going to do, so first off, I'll show you how to access your actual project file. So this new project folder, if I toggle that up, this is my core folder, right? It's called new project because that's what I named this project. It could be space game project. It could be project 5. It could be this really cool project, whatever you named it. But what you can do if you're confused on where this project is located, if you ever get lost or lose where you have stored this project on your computer, all you have to do is right click on this folder and go to show in desktop, and it will open up this project folder. So I can see art, build, input main, and I have art, input main. I don't have build in here. That's actually a folder that I just put in there. Let's see. So I'm going to actually delete that so you wouldn't see something like that unless you added it in. But anyways, this will be where you can see your project's location. So if you're wanting to export out your project or save your project and send it to someone so they can open it up in Defold, what you're going to do is go back one, and here is my project folder. So I'm going to right click and send to compressed zipped folder. And now I have a new project.zip, and this is what you will send to someone. They can uncompress it and then open it up. But this is going to have all of your files and all of your relevant information files and folders. So this is what you would upload. So if you're uploading like a project for an assignment, or if you're just sharing a project with a friend and not using GitHub or version control, that's how you would do that. Now, for the fun stuff, let's build a version of your game that you can post on the web for others to play. So what you can do is go to Project, and we're going to go to Bundle. And so there are a couple different options here. We have Android, Mac OS, Windows, and Linux. So these three in the middle are going to be desktop applications. And this top one is going to be Android, so mobile devices that are Android-based, so not Mac devices. And then we have HTML5, which is a web-based application that you can open up in a browser. So that's what I want to create. I'm going to hit HTML5 application, and it's going to come up with this little bundle application panel or window. In here, we can choose a couple different things. I would honestly leave all of this as default. Where it says variant, though, you have a debug by default, but if you drop this down, this could be a release version. If this is something that you're making a serious game that you're publishing to like Steam or some marketplace, then you'll maybe change this variant to release. But for the sake of these small little projects, debug mode is fine. And then we'll hit create bundle. And now it's going to ask you, where do you want to save this? So I'm going to go into my Defold projects folder, and I have a built games folder in here. I'm going to delete this. It should be empty. Again, I was testing this earlier. So I'm going to, there we go. So I'm in my built games folder, and this is where I want to store all my games or my built game. And so I'm going to hit select folder, and now it will start building it out. And now, once it's done, it will open this folder up. So notice it will save, if I go into my built games folder, it will save this as WASM-web. But if I open this up, I have my new project folder. And if I open this up, this is where I have my HTML file, my WASM files, and my archive folder. This is all stuff that you need for a web build. So I'm going to go back one. In this new project folder, I'm going to right click. I'm going to send to and compressed folder. And now I have a compressed folder called new project. I know this looks similar to the process I just showed you, but this is going to be different. This is, again, for a web-based project. So I'm going to open up my web browser over here. I'm going to go to itch.io. And in here, I'm going to drop down in the top right and go to Upload New Project. I'm going to call this Defold Demo Game. Pricing, no payment. And now I'm going to upload file. Actually, one thing you need to do is check kind of project. Because this is an HTML5 project, we're going to click this down and hit HTML. And it's going to ask for a zip or HTML file. And so you need to upload a zipped file, which is what we've already done. So I'm going to hit upload. And now it's going to look for, this might pull up in your downloads or wherever, but I'm going to need to find my Defold build folder. So I go to my Defold projects folder, built games. Here's that WASM-web folder. Click that open. And now I have my zipped new project folder. So I'm going to hit that and hit open. It's going to download that project. And now I'm going to look at this checkbox. This file will be played in the browser. I do want people to play this game in the browser. And another thing we want to check is your viewport dimensions. Now, if you aren't sure what the dimensions are of your game, you can view those. So if I close out of here, or just close this out, I'll drop that down. I can go into my project and go to this game.project file, double click it to open it. And this is where I can see several kind of components and a lot of information about my project. If I go to runtime display, I have my width and height here. So this is showing me pretty much the resolution of my game. So I've already built this out, so changing this now won't impact the build, the zipped build that I've already created. But it can use this information over here when I'm in itch. So I know my width is 960, so I need to change that to 960. And then my height is 640. I'm going to type in 640. There we go. So I got that up here. So now I can just go back into itch. You can check some of these frame options. I'm going to leave it all default. I'm not going to add a description or anything like that. I really, really recommend adding some sort of details in here, though, even if it's just like, hey, WSD are the movement controls and spacebar is jump. Your objective is to get to the end of the goal without being hit by enemies. That is a great description for a simple, small project. Don't leave this empty. And then by default, it's going to be draft selected. And I'm just going to hit save and view page. I'm going to save it and view it as a draft. But if I'm ready and finished with this and happy with the way it looks, I need to set this either to restricted or public. Now, by default, the first time you are creating this project, you can't set it to public. But I'm going to save and view page in draft mode. And it will show like this is draft mode. This is a secret URL. So if you try and send this to someone, it's not going to work because it's a secret URL. Now I've hit run game. I'll have my default splash screen, and now I can play my game in the browser. So I'm happy with this. I'm going to go back to my draft mode, and now I'm going to set it to public, or I can set it to restricted, and I can set a password, and maybe I want this password to be 123 or something easy, or maybe default game, right? Whatever you want to call it. And that's a way that you can share this with multiple people while not having it public if you're worried about that. Or you can just set it to public and anyone can view your game. I'm going to set it to restricted, set a password of 123, and then hit save. So now if I send this link to someone, so let's see, I'll view my page. I'm going to copy and paste this URL. I'm going to open up an incognito window so it doesn't recognize me. I'm going to hit Control V to paste this. And now it's going to say, ask for my password. I'm going to type 123, submit, and now I can play this game. So this is going to how how you'll be submitting, or how I recommend building out your game and submitting a playable version. Anyways, that's it for building and exporting out your files, project files, and your project, and building your project. As always, let me know if you have questions. Play around with this stuff and have fun.